Good afternoon. Welcome back. The analysis of earth pressure. What we do is backfill condition. In the last class we have considered the backfill and submerged backfill. Now let us proceed further. Third case is water on both sides. Consider retaining wall. Edge. Retaining horizonless horizontal backfill. Having gamma and angle of position. If you consider a little area backfill, let it is Z. Horizontal and vertical stress components will be there at the equilibrium condition. When sigma h becomes sigma b and sigma b becomes sigma 1. So in the previous case, for the submerged backfill, earth pressure acting on the wall is due to two components, namely submerged weight of soil and water. Here, when water is there on both the sides of the wall, that's the structure. So when water is there on both the sides of the wall, so earth pressure to be calculated by using only the submerged weight of soil and the water pressure on both the sides gets compensated. Means when water is there on both the sides of the wall, no need to consider the earth pressure due to water. Only we have to consider the earth pressure due to submerged weight of soil for normal conditions. Particularly in waterfront structures, there also we ignore the water, but we have to consider the wave action. Wherever we come across heavy tidal waves and all, there we have to consider the wave action to design the retaining wall. For normal conditions, if water is there on both the sides, it can compensate, but have to consider only earth pressure due to submerged weight of soil. So, earth pressure at the bottom is equal to A into gamma dash dash, and the total earth pressure, total active earth pressure PA is equal to, of course, you can draw the present distribution diagram, knowing the present place. As usual, it is pressure is 0 at the surface, as there is no extra load acting on the ground surface, of the wall. So, the magnitude of earth pressure at the base is equal to AA into gamma dash into H. So total active pressure is PA acts at a rate of y from base. So PA is equal to half into AA gamma dash into H. That is PA is equal to half into AA gamma dash square, and PA, since it is a simple triangular portion, that pressure distribution diagram, so PA acts at a rate of y is equal to h by 3 from base. So this is the pressure distribution diagram. So after these three cases, now let us consider the fourth case. For different soil layers, that is for different soil layers and for partially saturated backfill. Partially saturated backfill. So this case is important. This is important. All are important. This is again we have to put extra effort in understanding this case. Now let us consider a retaining wall. Let H be the height of the wall. Let us consider that water table is there below the ground surface at a depth say h1 from surface, and the remaining height is h2. And here it is the gamma and pi for the soil, and the rest of the surface soil again it is gamma dash and pi. So if you consider the elemental area at the back of the wall, we can write that it is same. There is the stress distribution will be same. Sigma B, sigma H. So irrespective of the water table, let us consider this case. We can come across different so three or four cases here. That is, though there is a water table at the depth of h1 below ground surface, there is no change in the angle of interpolation. That is, when pi1 is equal to pi2, pi1 this is say pi2, pi1 is equal to pi2, then Ka1 is equal to Ka2. Next, as usual, it is pressure at the surface is 0. we need to calculate pressure here. The stage manner. First, we have to calculate pressure due to this dry backfill, and we have to calculate this pressure due to submerged backfill. Because here there is a combination. So pressure due to this the backfill H1 is equal to pressure due to only dry backfill. Next, remaining portion is pressure due to this H2 is equal to due to two components, namely pressure due to submerged rate of soil and water. So pressure at depth pressure at depth H1 is equal to Ka1 into gamma into H1. Pressure at depth H1 is equal to Ka1 into gamma into H1. See here. So when we consider two layers, actually this is two layers. Though the soil is same, because of this water vapor, this becomes the two layer. So next when we consider the second layer, for the second layer, the top layer H1, the thickness of the soil and the depth of the soil H1 will act as a surcharge. Surcharge means it is extra soil, extra load. Say for example, if you put weight or if you apply load here above the surface, it becomes surcharge. Similarly, for the second layer, the first layer thickness will be the surcharge. So we need to consider that first we have to calculate the pressure due to surcharge, then we have to consider pressure due to submerged weight of soil. Next, earth pressure at the base due to top soil that is equal to Ka2 into gamma into H1. This is due to this was called as surcharge, pressure due to surcharge. Gamma into H1 is vertical pressure, that multiplied by coefficient gives the lateral pressure. So this soil above water table will act as surcharge for the bottom layer that we have considered here. So pressure due to the soil is gamma, vertical pressure due to the top soil is gamma and H1, that multiplied by Ka2. Ka2 means it is coefficient of pressure of the bottom layer. That is equal to Ka2 into gamma into H1. Next, earth pressure due to pressure at base, at base due to submerged weight of soil is equal to pressure at base due to submerged weight of soil is equal to, again it is Ka2 into gamma dash H2. So for this submerged weight of soil at the base, pressure at the base due to submerged weight of soil is equal to Ka2 for the bottom layer, and gamma dash is the unit weight of submerged unit weight of soil, H2 is the height. Next, another component we have to consider here, that is pressure due to water. Pressure due to water, that is equal to gamma W into, so gamma W acts here, along with that it is consider the height. So pressure Here we have to calculate, see, work pressure at depth of H1 is equal to Ka1 into gamma into H1. Next, second stage is when we calculate work pressure at the base, so we need to calculate, we have to consider the surcharge for the bottom layer. So work pressure due to the top surcharge soil is equal to Ka2 into gamma into H1. Next, pressure at the base due to the submerged weight of soil is equal to Ka2 gamma dash H2. And lastly, the pressure due to water at the base again is equal to gamma W into H2. So knowing these, the pressure at the base of the wall or bottom of the wall, we can easily draw the pressure distribution diagram. So draw reference line. Next, so pressure at depth H1 is equal to, this we already calculated, it is Ka1 into gamma into H1. Next, pressure at the base due to this surcharge is equal to gamma into H1 into Ka2, as pi1 is equal to pi2, therefore Ka1 is equal to Ka2, and there is no change in the value. That there is a pressure at the base due to surcharge, that becomes almost the same. It is Ka1 into gamma into H1 only. That is equal to, but for clarity we can write it as this is equal to Ka2 into gamma into H1. This is due to surcharge. Next, earth pressure at the base due to submerged soil, that is equal to Ka2 into gamma dash into H2. Ka2 into gamma dash into H2. Lastly, earth pressure again at the base due to water is equal to gamma W into H2. So this is very important. So in the previous cases, we had come across a single triangle, that is in pressure distribution diagram, whereas you can see here combination of the triangles and the rectangle. So this case is very important. Whenever we come across layered soil like this, first layer or first type, we have to calculate the pressure by multiplying the coefficient, pressure coefficient with the height. We use the pressure at a particular time. Then when we calculate the pressure at the base, along with the pressure due to the submerged soil and water, we have to consider earth pressure due to surcharged soil above the wall table. That we did here, Ka2 into gamma into H1, that is earth pressure due to surcharge. Next it is Ka2 into gamma dash into H2, that is earth pressure due to submerged soil. Lastly, gamma W into H2, that is due to water. So after drawing the pressure distribution diagram, we can easily calculate total active earth pressure. As we know that it is the total active earth pressure is equal to the area of the pressure distribution diagram. Now let us divide this composite section into known regular geometrical shapes to calculate the area of the pressure distribution diagram. As it is, we don't have any equation to calculate area. So for that, if you can divide this into known regular geometry, you can easily calculate. Let us consider this as triangle 1, next rectangle 2, and these two can be considered as a single triangle number 3. Let pressure acting on these individual areas are, so this is PA1 and this is PA2. And pressure acting on this triangular portion is PA3. And the total acting pressure due to both this the dry backfill and the submerged backfill will be PA, and that acts at the height of y from base. Here extra thing we added is PA1, PA2, PA3, that is because we come across irregular pressure distribution diagram. To calculate total active earth pressure, that is we need to convert this irregular pressure distribution diagram to non-regular geometrical shape, then we have to calculate area of the pressure distribution diagram. Next, total active earth pressure. PA is equal to PA1 plus PA2 plus PA3. We can easily calculate area of this triangle, rectangle, and these two triangles. We already did in the previous case. Next, to find out the point of application of this earth pressure, so we need to use the Varignon's theorem concept. So we know that Varignon's theorem. What is Varignon's theorem states? What is the Varignon's theorem state? It is the algebraic sum of the moment of all the forces about a point is equal to moment of the resultant force. So if you apply Varignon's theorem for this this pressure components and PA, we will get the point of application of say this P, that is PA into Y is moment due to resultant. Resultant means total active earth pressure. PA into Y, that is equal to, so moment due to this total active earth pressure is equal to moment due to these three pressure due to PA1, PA2, PA3. PAY is equal to PA1 into this height is PA1 into H2 plus H1 by 3 plus PA2 from the base. You have to measure from this toe. From this toe, it is, if you measure the distance as coordinate system, then PA2 multiplied by, it is the height of the rectangle is H2 by 2 plus then PA3 into H2 by 3, 1/3 of H2. So the algebraic sum of moment of all the pressures PA1, PA2, PA3 is equal to moment of this total active earth pressure. PA into Y is equal to moment of PA1, PA2 and PA3. So we get Y in meters. So likewise you can calculate the active earth pressure and their point of application. So this is a typical case. So this can be used for different cases. Say different cases means for variation in the pi 1, pi 2, something like that. So let us consider a critical case, the two cases. When pi 1 is equal to pi 2, this is the case. And suppose if pi 1 is greater than pi 2, what will happen? And if pi 1 is less than pi 2, what will happen? Let us consider those two cases here. This is case 1. Pi 1 is greater than pi 2. So when pi 1 is greater than pi 2, let us consider again a retaining wall. Let water table is there at the depth of H1. So this is gamma and pi 1, gamma dash and pi 2. Let H be the height of the wall. When pi 1 is greater than pi 2, means already done here, as the Ka depends on pi value, angle of internal friction value. Higher the angle of internal friction, lower will be the Ka, and lower the angle of friction, higher will be the Ka. So Ka increases with the increase in the current. Ka increases with the decrease in value of pi, and Ka decreases with the increase in value of pi. So here Ka1 is less than Ka2. Next, as usual, earth pressure at the surface is 0. Earth pressure at a depth H1 is equal to Ka1 into gamma into H1. So better let us proceed with the parallelly we can draw the pressure distribution diagram, so it is easy. So at the depth H1 it is the pressure is Ka1 into gamma into H1. Next, you can easily now see this routine. Whenever you come across two layers of soil, the top layer should be considered as surcharge when we calculate earth pressure at the base. Earth pressure at the base due to top surcharge. Top surcharge means due to this top dry soil is equal to Ka2 into gamma into H1. Same thing we have already in the previous case. As Ka2 is greater than Ka1, automatically there is increase in pressure at the base due to surcharge. As Ka2 is greater than Ka1, earth pressure due to surcharge will be more here at the base. So this will be little more. And this is Ka2 into gamma into H1. Next, earth pressure at the base due to submerged soil. Is equal to earth pressure at the base due to submerged soil is equal to gamma dash into Ka2 into gamma dash into H2. Ka2 into gamma dash into H2. So as usual it is this is due to submerged soil. Ka2 into gamma dash into H2. Lastly, earth pressure due to water again at the base, and pressure at base is equal to gamma W into, be careful that when you calculate pressure due to water, we should not multiply with the coefficient of pressure. Gamma W into H2. This is gamma W into. See here, compare the previous case and observe the pressure distribution diagram. Here at this junction, there is no change in earth pressure at the base due to the top surcharge, top dry soil. Dry soil acts as a surcharge for the bottom layer, because Ka1 is equal to Ka2 remains same. Whereas here, since Ka1 is not equal to Ka2 and with a decrease in value of pi 2, there is increase in value of the Ka value, coefficient of pressure. As a result, there is increase in the pressure due to this surcharge, that is gamma into H1 into Ka2 gives us the increase of pressure at the base due to surcharge. So remaining the two values as usual, as we calculated before, that is pressure due to the submerged soil is equal to Ka2 into gamma dash into H2, and pressure due to water is equal to gamma W into H2. Here also it is not regular geometrical shape. We can convert this pressure distribution diagram into non-regular geometrical shape. Say W that is P A3 and this is PA2 and this is PA1, and PA acts at a height of y from base. So the same procedure is adopted here. We calculate the y by applying Varigna's theorem. We can easily calculate a point of application. So this change to be noted here. This is the change. With the increase in Ka2, there is increase in the value of earth pressure. Hence, there is change in the pressure distribution diagram. Suppose if the bottom soil means soil below water table having a higher value of angle of interfriction, or if there is no water table also. Next, case 3. When pi 1 is less than pi 2, means pi 2 is greater than pi 1. Now let us consider a retaining structure. Retaining cohesionless horizontal backfill. We can consider water table, or without water table also we can consider. So here also in the previous case also, if there is whether it may be water table or if there is change in value of pi 1 and pi 2, the same procedure is adopted. For better understanding, let us consider this backfill without the water table. See, this is H1, the top layer is H1 and the bottom layer is H2. Let this gamma 1 is a dry backfill. Consider it as a dry backfill, gamma 1 and pi 1. Here is gamma 2 and pi 2. as pi 1 is less than pi 2, here Ka1 is less than Ka1 is greater than Ka2. With the increase in angle of friction, there will be decrease in Ka value. Decrease in angle of friction, increase in the Ka value. That is active air pressure. So pi 1 is less than pi 2 means Ka1 must be greater than Ka. If you consider the pressure distribution here, as usual, at present the surface is 0. At pressure at a depth H1 is equal to Ka1 into gamma 1 into H1. So we can draw this the distribution, pressure distribution. It is Ka1 into gamma 1 into H1. This is Ka1 gamma 1 into H1. Now, to calculate the pressure at the base of the wall, pressure at the base due to top surcharge is equal to, it is same as usual, Ka2 into gamma 2 into gamma 1 into H1. Ka2 into gamma 1 into H1. See here, as Ka2 is less than Ka1, there is a change in the pressure distribution at the bottom due to the surcharge. As pressure decreases, so this pressure distribution diagram will take a shape like this. It will go back. Because of increase in angular friction of this bottom layer of soil, there is decrease in pressure, lateral pressure due to the top surcharge soil. This is Ka2 into gamma 1 into H1. See, for the same surcharge, because of the increase in Ka2 value, there is decrease in the lateral pressure of the base. Next, earth pressure at the base due to bottom soil, bottom means the second layer soil, is equal to Ka2 into gamma 2 into H2. So, the pressure due to the bottom dry soil is equal to Ka2 into gamma 2 into H2. This is Ka2 into gamma 2 into. So purposefully we have considered these cases a dry backfill, both the top and bottom layer. So this is due to top layer H1, Ka1 into gamma into H1. For the earth pressure at base, we have to consider this top layer as surcharge. So earth pressure due to this surcharge is equal to Ka2 into gamma into H1. That is, there is decrease in the pressure due to increase in the coefficient of effective earth pressure. Lastly, this is earth pressure due to the bottom layer is equal to Ka2 into gamma 2 into H2. Here, this gamma W and gamma H2 is not introduced because it's a dry backfill. Suppose if there is the water is there up to here. If water is there up to here, so additional line will come here. So this work pressure due to submerged soil will be like this. It becomes Ka2 into gamma dash into H2. Lastly, it is work pressure due to water is equal to gamma W together. So as usual, it is this can convert this into known regular geometrical shape. Now 1, 2, 3. Then PA2, PA1, PA3. So PA can be marked, which acts at height of y from base. So you can apply the Pythagoras theorem and apply the y point of application of PA. PA is equal to PA1 plus PA2 plus PA. Fifth case, backfill with uniform surcharge. Consider a retaining wall. Of height h. Let this wall retains poisonless horizontal backfill. Of properties gamma and pi. Let this backfill subjected to uniform surcharge of intensity Q. This kilometer per meter or meters per. So whenever we come across the uniform surcharge, the additional calculation to be made here that earth pressure is already acting. In the previous cases, earth pressure at the top of the wall is 0. But because of this already surcharge load is acting on the backfill, this surcharge load to be considered along with the other coefficient. So earth pressure at the top is equal to earth pressure at the top of the wall is equal to Ka into Q. Coefficient of earth pressure of the backfill multiplied by the intensity of UDL acting over the backfill, and that will be uniform throughout the height. In addition to that, earth pressure due to backfill should be considered. So without this surcharge, what we used to do, we used to consider only this backfill. Before considering earth pressure due to backfill, we have to consider earth pressure due to the surcharge. Here, earth pressure due to applied surcharge is equal to Ka into Q. And the same surcharge, this surcharge will be uniform throughout the height. If you draw the pressure distribution diagram, we can show it like this. So this is Ka into Q. Where Ka is the coefficient of active earth pressure and Q is the intensity of the surcharge, uniformly distributed load or something like that. Ka into Q. Next, earth pressure due to the backfill at the base is equal to Ka into gamma into H. So
So earth pressure at the base is equal to Ka into gamma into H. This is Ka into gamma into H. So we got the pressure distribution diagram. Again, it is not possible to calculate area as it is. So we can consider two geometrical shapes separately. Number one rectangle and number two triangle. Consider this as PA1 area due to this first triangle rectangle, and second triangle is PA2. PA acts at a height of away from base. Again, this can be calculated. PA is equal to PA1 plus PA2, and y can be calculated by applying variance there.
So we have considered various the backfill conditions for analysis. The last condition is the inclined backfill or inclined backfill surface. Number 6. Inclined backfill or inclined backfill surface. So let us consider a retaining structure. Of height h. So let this retaining structure is having an inclined backfill, making an angle of beta. This beta we already stated that it is the surcharge angle, and the portion of the backfill above horizontal with respect to the top of the wall is known as the surcharge soil. So in the case of inclined backfill, an additional assumption is made to the Rankine's theory such that stresses are conjugate in nature, means the pressure developed at the back of the wall both in the vertical direction and the horizontal direction are conjugate in nature, means it is parallel to the backfill surface. If we consider an elemental portion at the backfill, so this is an elemental portion, and this elemental portion we consider the sides parallel to the top and bottom sides parallel to the inclined surface, sigma v, then sigma h. This is sigma h. So sigma v is parallel to the vertical surface, that is back surface of the wall, and sigma h is parallel to the backfill surface, which makes an angle beta with respect to horizontal. Here the procedure is same, except that to take this the inclined backfill surface or surcharge angle and surcharge soil, the coefficient of active earth pressure and passive earth pressure relation takes the form by incorporating the angle beta, and as we already assumed that stresses or pressures are parallel to the surface. So vertical pressure is parallel to the vertical face of the wall, it is back sides of the face, and the horizontal pressure is nothing but lateral pressure. Lateral pressure is parallel to the back surface, top surface of the soil backfill. Now, as usual, we can calculate here earth pressure at the top of the wall is 0. So Ka can be calculated, coefficient of active earth pressure can be calculated by using the beta, that is cos beta minus root of cos square beta minus cos square pi, the divided by cos beta plus root of cos square beta minus cos square. So it's very easy to remember, there is not much complication here, just cos beta cos pi we use. Here beta represent the surcharge angle and pi represents the angle of internal friction of the backfill soil. Similarly, Kp is equal to cos beta plus root of cos square beta minus cos square pi, the divided by cos beta minus root of cos square beta minus cos square pi. So coefficient of active earth pressure and passive earth pressure can be calculated by incorporating this the surcharge angle in addition to this angle of internal friction. This will take care. Then as per the lateral earth pressure is concerned, here sigma V is equal to earth pressure, say if you consider this as a depth Z, vertical earth pressure, vertical stress or vertical pressure at a depth Z is equal to gamma into Z into cos beta. So vertical pressure at a depth Z is equal to gamma into Z in the normal case when the backfill is horizontal. Since it is the backfill is inclined at an angle beta, so this beta to be considered along with this the cos. Next, as there is a relationship between the vertical pressure and lateral pressure, so horizontal pressure sigma h, that is equal to Ka into gamma into Z cos beta. So horizontal pressure at the depth Z below the surface, that is equal to Ka into gamma into Z into cos beta. So earth pressure at the base of the wall, lateral earth pressure at the base of the wall is equal to Ka into gamma into H into cos beta. So this we already discussed. We have standard equation, standard expression to calculate earth pressure at the base of the wall. It is Ka into gamma into H. In addition to this Ka gamma H, we have to use this beta to take care of this inclined surface. So knowing the earth pressure, as usual, earth pressure at the base at the top it is 0. If you in this expression, if you put Z is equal to 0, then the horizontal pressure is equal to 0. So earth pressure distribution diagram takes the form like this. It's a triangular form. So at a depth Z, the earth pressure is equal to Ka gamma into Z cos beta, and the total active earth pressure, is equal to, so we know the earth pressure at base, that is equal to Ka gamma H into cos beta. So total active earth pressure is equal to, that is Pa is equal to area of the pressure distribution diagram, half into Ka gamma into H square into cos beta. Lastly, it is Pa acts at a height y is equal to h by 3 from base. So again here the total active earth pressure is also acting parallel to the surface of the backfill PA, and it makes an angle, the surcharge angle beta, which is acting at a height of h by 3 means y is equal to h by 3 from base. Like this we can calculate earth pressure when the back of the wall is backfill surface is inclined with which making an angle of surcharge angle of beta. So this is for the active earth pressure. Similarly for passive case. For passive earth pressure, here we have to use coefficient of passive earth pressure, that is cos beta. The only change here is this numerator minus becomes a plus in case of Kp. So rarely we come across this type of cases. Even if you come across this type of the inclined backfill, we can calculate comfortably both active and passive earth pressure by taking into the account the surcharge angle, by taking the surcharge angle into account. So these are all the various cases which we come across in practice to decide the earth pressure, maybe a active earth pressure or passive earth pressure.